I literally finished the show like within minutes of coming on to this podcast, and I would normally like to do a lot more research. Overall, I liked it, and I think that the hype is not overblown. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I said it in our chat, and I'll just start with it because I think it's sort of an expectation setter. I don't have a lot of complaints about the show. I actually thought it was really great. The one like complaint, if that's what it is just that it wasn't really a superhero show. Like when you think of Marvel, you're thinking about a lot of action and a lot of adventure and superpowers and if you look at Falcon and the Winter Soldier, international intrigue and all this stuff. And this is a very tight story, really about two guys. And there is that superhero element that comes in parts and the super powered bit. But this could have aired on any network at any time and been outside of the MCU. So like there's an expectation that it's gonna uh, have more of a tie to the things that are going on in the MCU as we know it, and that this impacts the MCU in one way or the is impacted by the MCU in another way. And while it is, and it does connect, like it's not really a show about superheroes. It's a show about a man and then this very unlikely friendship that he forms um, with Trevor Slattery, and um, it it's really in that regard it's really good. I think just for me, like if I look at it as an MCU show, it didn't do what I expected it to do. I did expect more of the heroiness of it,
huh.
right? Like, and I'm not disappointed in that. It just wasn't what I was expecting, and so that's like the closest thing. Honestly, the closest thing I have to a complaint about it. But otherwise, I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's like you said, the credit that it's getting, I think, is well deserved. Um,
So I'll say that believe it or not, the first two episodes they didn't really they were cool, but I wasn't really that into it. For me, it was the actually even the first I started to like it in the third episode, but for me what really got me in, believe it or not, was Doorman.
yep,
I
yep,
that was a I love and I feel like a lot of these shows, whether it's like The Last of Us with the season one episode three, or this, like when you just take a little bit of a detour, or
yeah.
even like I think it was
He,
Watchmen that did that. Yeah, it was Watchmen. Watchmen went back and Hooded Justice, the Hooded
yeah,
Justice episode.
yep.
This was Wonder Man's like Hooded Justice episode to understand what the Doorman clause was.
Yeah,
And
yeah, because that comes up and they just kind of leave you hanging.
1,000%, man. And man, that episode was genius from start to finish. And I actually even looked up the guy who played Doorman, and I forget his name right now, but like, anyways, I just looked him up. He's a comedian. He's done a lot of work, but I mean, everyone did a great job. Josh Gad, I know he's a bigger deal than I even know. I know he's won some awards and stuff, and I know he's a Book and Mormon, but he was great in it. I mean, the whole like cautionary tale, and I'm rambling, guys, for a second, but the thing that I loved the most about the show, believe it or not, was the fact that it felt like a very authentic love letter to living in LA and trying to be an aspiring actor. And let me tell you, when I hear things like choices, like you have to make a choice about the character. This is the choice you're making. Now you got to go with it. Or the spontaneous auditions that had to take place at the mansion of the director. Man, like you guys didn't ask for this, but like I've been part of those kinds of things. Mind you, it was online, but I remember going to a voice acting class with one of my favorites. I'll just tell him his name is Michael Bell. He's done a lot of very, very good stuff in with 80s cartoons and up to today. But you have to just be vulnerable and like just be prompted and then just start acting. And it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. So anyway, I yeah, let's just keep going, man. But
Well, yeah,
I loved it.
and leading into that, like I really like that. Um, you can see that like he is somebody that is very passionate about acting, and we see where that comes from. You know, that came from his dad. His dad really believed in him. And as we see in later episodes, his dad is really the one that pushed him a little harder to be an actor. And, you know, the subtext there is that for the rest of his life, because his dad is gone, he wants to do this, you know, because it was what his dad wanted for him. And they have this shared thing, which is this original movie of Wonder Man from when he was a kid that was even older than, you know, than he was. And so it's really fun, but you know, you can see where it became an obsession for him because he gets himself fired in the first episode from American Horror Story because he's just pushing too far. He wants it to be amazing, but it's a minor part. It's literally a scene. He's going to be the character in the scene for a minute and then he's going to die. And he reads so far into it to give it the love that he feels it deserves that it drives the director crazy. And she's like, "Yeah, you know what? We're we're gonna go a different route with this." Um, and it's a thing where if you're too passionate about something and you're not reading the room, right? You're gonna end up in a shitty situation for yourself. Like you've got to understand your environment, and no matter how passionate you are about something, um, if you're too passionate or more passionate or push harder than the people around you want you to, it's not going to work out for you.
It's not a fit. And I
Yeah.
definitely I think I've been in that situation. As a matter of fact, like yeah, I absolutely have. And like so I you can just kind of like reel it in, especially at a
Hmm.
work situation. Um Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Now he has always had a certain cachet, you know, and I read up on him too, and apparently he is Alpha Phi Alpha, which is the same. It's a historically Black Greek fraternity. So that's cool. Like that's what's up, man. But I'll admit, like from what I'd seen, like when he was Manta in
Hmm.
what's it called?
Aquaman.
Ah, thank you, Aquaman. Like I'll be honest, I didn't really like the Manta character. I will say he was dope in Watchmen, but I've always felt like when I see him, like it's kind of like that's Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Like I don't really see a lot of variation between those characters. Now there are things that he probably has been different in, like Just Mercy. I haven't seen that, but that's the first time that the director of this show, as well as Shang-Chi and him, like collaborated. But in this show, he is that insecure,
Hmm.
overly anxious feeler, right? And I was looking at that versus the Slattery character, and while he's a feeler as well, I think his thinking, his T is more powerful. So he was able to kind of like calm him down when he was, you know, like freaking out or getting into his head. But I have to say, this is the first time like I've really like besides, no, I'll admit it. This is the first time I've really liked a character that Yahya brought to life. Like I thought, you know, him who he played in Watchmen was cool, but this one I actually now want to see like more.
Hmm.
Uh, just because he goes through his own journey from being very much I can't get out of my own way to okay, now I've got some confidence and not only do I have confidence, I have character. And
Hmm.
you know, because we're going to skip around, but I love the choice he makes at the by the end of the show, and is like, you know what, I'm not going to let you rot, and I'm gonna, you know, and then does what he does, which is actually, if you haven't seen Wonder Man leave, he actually flies, you know,
Yeah.
and the way he flew kind of reminded me of the Smallville version of flying,
Yeah.
where he's just
Yeah.
kind of like power up and then shoom, like that was cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good. And I love, like you said, we'll bounce around, but I love the way that even though There obviously is a moment. Like it made me laugh because we're at the end of the second to last episode. And now we're into sort of like almost like the rom-com formula. These two have to have a falling out before they can, fix it at the very end. I was kind of laughing, but yeah, so they have a falling out when the truth comes out. But you can see like what I really, really enjoyed is even though the story itself, follows that pattern and is a little typical in that regard, you can you believe everything that Trevor Slattery does and says. Like when he's like, I really didn't mean, like, I didn't know you before I started doing this. And the
Yes.
way that he feels about him and comes to really care for him.
Yeah.
And you feel that the whole way through.
Hmm.
And so, at the end, you just like, he's going to find a way to at least visit him, right? Like he's not supposed to, like, I don't know if I necessarily expected a breakout, but I was like, they're gonna have to come together again somehow. Like he's just not gonna leave him out there on an island when he is literally the reason that he is now a success, that he's now a name. And it's because of everything that Ben
Yeah.
Kingsley's character did to push him,
Yes.
and really like genuinely help him because what we never really get from the character in Iron Man 3 or in Shang-Chi is that the dude actually loves acting.
Yes, loves acting and does it for the right reasons. Like the idea of holding up a mirror, to nature and how if we allow our vulnerability to come out, then those other people who are dealing with that loneliness or whatever are a little less lonely,
Mhm.
and he seems like genuinely like when, oh my God, Joey Pants. So when Joey,
Yeah, Joey Pants.
so a whole Joey Pants, everything was perfect. So the fact that this guy, this soulless corporate like opportunist, is just totally crapping all over the art of acting. And I love how Simon like stands up for his boy because he's absolutely like Trevor,
Yeah.
and he defends Trevor and honestly, like again, like man, if I could clone myself, one of them would absolutely go into acting. Like it really is fun to just kind of dig with it. And you've acted, no, Andy's
Hmm.
acted, so I feel like that's what Andy, I'm sure, was into it because Andy has that acting background. There is something. It just it's it brings you to life,
Hmm.
but it is competitive and it is again vulnerable to have to just be in a room with all the other people and on the spot just like take a prompt from someone knowing you're being evaluated based on you. Like
Hmm.
it's like your heart and soul and essence is being graded. Ugh, and all the rejection. Anyway, but yeah, so the Trevor, I think this is my favorite outing of Trevor Slattery.
Yeah.
And like with all these things, all it does is improve everything that came before it. I now almost want to watch Iron Man 3 again. I want to watch like Shang-Chi again because Trevor Slattery, he's a cool guy. Like and even the flashback scene where you see him becoming like the original Mandarin. He's
Yep.
like out of his mind, high out of his mind. And man, okay, sorry. I love this. I got me excited. First of all, the first time I ever saw Ben Kingsley, I was 6 years old. My parents took us to see Gandhi. Now,
Hmm.
Gandhi is like over 3 hours long in the
Yeah,
theater.
it's
Like
not
what
short.
kind? Like what? Like I remember just hating it and hating the name. But of course, I watched it again in 2003. But the point is, the whole time I'm watching it, it's like that's Gandhi, and I think he won the Oscar for that, and
Yep.
he deserved
Yep.
it. And he's actually half Gujarati, which is like a Indian ethnicity. His mom is, and his dad was
Well, you
British.
can't, and his birth name is not.
It's Krishna something. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
even Ben
he
Kingsley.
changed it to get roles
Yes.
because he could play that because he's not particularly,
Yeah, he
you
he
know,
could.
He doesn't have
Yes.
that full look, right?
Right.
But he is.
So it's like to me, like the meta nature of Wonder Man in that it's about acting, and this guy who played a stately world leader is now playing a long-haired, like kind of loser
Yeah,
who
he's a
gets
bit of a stooge. Yeah.
tackled to the airport. Like, yeah, man, I talented guy, man,
Yeah.
and I really bought their chemistry too.
Oh,
Like it,
100%. Like you talking about how far Yaya's come compared to other roles. I actually would put money that some of that at least has to do with Ben Kingsley, just working with him and seeing how he operates. Um, and some of that comes out of too. You see a guy that played Gandhi, right? That played this role, and he's played so many dramatic roles to be able to let himself go and play a character that is so silly in a lot of ways. Like if you told a lot of like if you told a Daniel Day-Lewis to go play this character, he'd be like, "No, it's not, no serious actor would take this role."
hmm
And, it's just ridiculous. And then Ben Kingsley comes into it, and the character took a lot of crap in Iron Man 3.
Oh yeah.
Right? It took a beating in Iron Man 3 because it's not at all what the Mandarin is supposed
hmm
to be fair. Now, we go to Shang-Chi, they soften him up a little bit, right? We get to see the humorous side of him, and he's kind of a doof, right? And he's going through his stuff. And then here we, like you said, we actually see the development. We see who he can be or who he really is underneath, and see all the development of this character that really could have been a throwaway. Like after Iron
Yes,
Man 3, we could have never seen him again and everybody would have been fine.
correct. You know, and
And
I love
even
how, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, and even bringing him back in Shang-Chi is a bit of a joke. Like
Yeah,
it's funny and it brings some humor to it. But here we get real heart.
a gajillion percent. And it almost full circle too. And I love the way he holds up the 10 rings on his hand,
Yes.
in there. Like it was just such a it's like Marvel's way, if you will, of saying, okay, our bad. Like we shouldn't have cast him as the Mandarin, but at least it's not the real Mandarin. And then it's like, but we're still gonna like call out the 10 rings. And then for it was just a perfect ploy to have him kind of do, I'm back as, the Mandarin. And he's just, because I remember the first time I saw Iron Man 3 in the theater, same thing. He was scary, dude.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, like all the
Yeah.
little things in the videos, like, I'm just gonna blah blah blah. Like, and how do you do that? How do you go from that to like, I'm not even gonna try to do his Trevor Slattery voice, but it's just so light, and even
Yeah.
the way he talks, like, oh blah, like it's just so uh, okay, jumping around. I do think there's a little bit of Miss Marvel magic. Wow, just alliteration, Miss Marvel magic. Like with the family stuff, like his
Yeah.
mom and the brother, and just the whole Haitian thing. Like that, I
Yes.
just wanted to like
Yes.
give a little bit of. Like, I was all hungry, man. Like the food, like that was cool. I just liked that. Also super nerdy, and I didn't post it on online, but I might later. I noticed right away Microsoft computers. I'm sorry. Like I actually saw the little Microsoft window on the back on the laptop. I'm like, that's my laptop. I rewound it and like sure enough, like you always see Apple, you don't see Microsoft. You're probably going, Andrew, shaking your head. But I just have to like bring that up. Everyone else can be like, Andrew, like, anyways. What else? What else? What else? What else? You go, man. But like yeah.
Yeah, I like you said, I really appreciated the family aspect of it because you get so many sides to his family where you have the dad that is cares and believes in him and wants him to do the things that he knows he loves, right? So he pushes him to that. You've got the mom who's just overly sweet. Like his mom's adorable. I fucking love his mom. She's great. And then you got the brother who is like the total hard ass. And you get at least the feeling at the end that like he's just like, fuck, I was just pushing you because I just wanted you to succeed and I didn't see that you could succeed at this thing that you want to do, but I wanted you to be okay. And then once he does, he's like, dude, I was wrong and you're golden. Like, you know,
Don't
I'm so
forget about
happy
us
for
in
you.
Pacoima.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And the whole Haitian bit was great because you know that these communities exist. Like these folks that come over from other places, they will always tend to find each other, right? And so the like it's almost like a little Haiti there, right? And they have each other and they work out. And I love how they also kind of give you the details about why he is the way he is, because everybody's like, yeah, I didn't really deal with him. I was there for Eric. Like Simon, they're like, oh, she's the one. He's like, oh, yeah, we drove to school together. And he's like, well, yeah, what do you know about Simon? She's like, I don't know anything about him. We just drove to school together. And you're like, well, shit. Like so he's kind of a weird kid. He's kind of a little off, a little odd. Um, and then, it comes from a little bit of him having these powers that seem, at least initially, to only activate when he is frustrated, which
Hmm.
is not a good thing.
No.
He's caused severe damage to his home um, by letting these powers out. And then on top of that, the one thing that he wants to do is act, and you've got this doorman clause that um, would prevent him from doing that if he had powers.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I love about this, because it is a bit of a meta show. When you can, I think not enough actors do this, but when an actor can come in and make fun of themselves and poke fun at themselves, like Josh Gad, you get to play an extreme version of yourself, right?
Mhm.
So he gets to do that. Joey Pants gets to be, the dickish, like, what is he, the real estate baron that is
Yes.
like so funny, and but like not a bad guy. He just his character of himself is the guy that said, hey, I'm good at acting, I'm gonna go make some money on this, but I'm gonna make real money doing something else. And not necessarily be an actor. He's like, this is my job and I'm gonna use it to make money and make more money.
A sick amount of money.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And also going back to Simon's character, because I do wonder about the choice of why they made Wonder Man the way he is, because it seems to be a complete reinvention of the original character. But apparently, Yahya went to high school in Oakland at a place called McClymonds High School, for in case there's people in the Bay Area who know that. He was a self-described geek who enjoyed chess, but was also voted prom king. So I love that. That's just like that's layers, man. And ended up at Berkeley. That's where he became Alpha by Alpha, then a hurdler for the Golden Bears, but also got into theater, obviously. So, but man, got his MFA from Yale. So, dude, Yaya is the man. Now, going back to Joey Pants for a second, even the idea of like being like a backstabber as Cypher in the Matrix, it
Yep.
made it just totally made sense with the movie. I think that was definitely not a coincidence. Um, and yeah, so one thing I do remember posting on my Facebook was the headline about Wonder Man basically being MCU superfans can skip Wonder Man. For everyone
Hmm.
else, it's a must watch.
Yeah.
And our boy Andy basically was like, why wouldn't you watch it if you're a super fan? But for me, I was like, because like clearly this isn't going to have a major impact on
Yep.
the narrative and it's a different kind of show. So if you go in expecting like the next like narrative beat, then you're going to be disappointed.
I think
Um,
I think that title's a little of a misnomer, because I think if you're a super fan, you're going to be okay with it.
it's
You'll
the
actually get it.
casuals. Yes.
It's those folks that are right in the middle that would have a problem with it, because it's exactly like I said too in the beginning. It's not really a superhero show, and while it does tie into the MCU, it doesn't feel like it's a critical part of the MCU.
No.
And so, people that want this to be important. It's funny that Andrew says that, because one of his big complaints about the early MCU shows is that they didn't feel like they connected to the MCU enough. Um, and this one definitely does not. but when you are expecting it to, or when you're hoping it will, or whatever, um, that could be a letdown. That, like I said, that's my biggest complaint about it is just that's not what this is.
I do wonder though. I mean, he seems pretty powerful. Like the fact that he was able to go in there and break him out like that.
He's
Like,
supposed to, like, I do not know about the character of Wonder Man, to be honest. Like,
okay, so we're both okay, we're in the same boat. Okay.
I don't know the comic background. So on this, I'm definitely lacking. But I do know he's supposed to be one of the more powerful characters in the MCU. Um,
Yeah. So what I read was Baron von Zemo actually basically created him. Like, he gave him his powers and he was supposed to fight the Avengers, eventually becomes a good guy, and then becomes like a member of the West Coast Avengers.
yeah,
But he's definitely like has a completely different origin story.
yeah, for sure. Whatever it
Yeah.
is, it can't have anything to do with Zemo.
Yeah.
Just based on what we know from that character. So it'll be interesting to see if they ever even bother with an origin story.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Excellent point. But yeah, Doorman.
The
Start.
Doorman episode was fantastic. Um, and it's so great because it is a pocket episode, right? Like for the most
Mhm.
part. You get this backstory on
Ding
this
dong.
character.
That's it. I'm sorry. That was a
Oh,
catchphrase. Ding dong. Like,
yeah.
oh, sorry. Keep
So
going. But I
yes, but
love
so
that
much of it is
episode.
so good because you have this guy who is very happy doing what he's doing.
Yes.
He accidentally gets these powers, which again, even that one, we don't really get the reason. Like
No,
we
it's like
see
the
him get it from the
goo.
goo, but we
Yeah.
don't know why that's there. Like there, to me, there was always this implication there was something shady going on at the nightclub, because even she's talking about how people,
Don't stay
never worked there
long.
very long,
Yeah.
and so he gets these powers, and then people are like, dude, you got to become, more and more and more. We need to use you to make our stuff better. And he's like, but I'm happy doing this thing. Like, this is what I like. And, he gets pushed around and thrown into a life that he was never prepared for or cared about. And then
Was that
gets thrown to
Scott
the
Conn,
side.
by the way? I didn't look that up. Was that Scott Conn who was his agent? Hold on a
Oh, I
second.
didn't even notice.
Yeah, I think it was.
Was he only on the phone, the agent?
No, no, he was the guy who basically was like, I told you to like be careful with your money. He's like, you never told me that. Like he was like
Yeah.
literally, yeah.
I don't
Anyhow,
remember his face at all.
yeah.
Um,
But it was just such a microcosm of the life cycle of when someone's a bit of like an overnight success. It's
yeah.
like, and it was depressing to see him go from, you know what, like the agency's like, you know what, you're a little old now, so we're gonna go with this other, I think it was the guy who's in the morning show. I forget his name right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
but
Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan.
yeah,
Yeah.
with his
Yeah.
right hand, yeah, because he actually has digestive issues. They're like, we're not
Yeah.
gonna go up against it. And then he ended up doing an infomercial, and then there's a lawsuit because people got their hands burned
Yeah.
by the
From the popcorn
potato
bags or whatever,
bag.
potato bags. Yeah.
Yeah. Then he
Yeah.
goes to this talk show, and they make fun of him. And
Yeah.
then finally, and you all know what's going to happen. They're like, "Oh yeah, we do our own stunts." And then he's like having his stomach is gurgling, and then he jumps into his stomach.
And it
I
just
thought he was going to
disappears.
be like chopped in half. That's what I thought was going to happen. But he's still like where is he? And I guess Josh Gad actually posted something like, oh, Josh Gad will not be appearing in Avengers like Doomsday or something. Like that's a joke, but like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it was so good. Yeah, that was for me by far. And even the fact that they did it in black and white, uh,
Yes. Yes. I really
was
liked that.
was an effective. Okay, it wasn't Scott Conn, it was somebody else. But I've seen that actor before.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
One of the other things I love too, and you talked about it a little bit, because of the LA feel, is how often they talk about like actual other TV shows. And I think that's actually really helpful. Instead of just being made up shows where, whatever, you feel this world like really existing. So they talk about American Horror Story. They talk about
Mhm.
Severance, right? His ex-girlfriend got a part on Severance. Is the first thing she finally got cast in something. So they're talking about these real shows, like really kind of cementing the show into more of a real world, and just making that LA bit of it feel that much more real. I also love we didn't talk about how he gets the audition for Wonder Man, how he completely goes outside of his agent and snakes
Hmm.
his way in, just being shady as shit, getting himself the audition. And
Very
it's
crafty though. But keep going.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You just see like, and it's funny that you said like he went to Yale, and I'm like, okay, well, you can see, you feel an intelligence to this character, despite the fact that he's a struggling actor and not necessarily making it in this world yet. But there's intelligence there. Even the little kid's character, when you see him interacting with his dad, he's a smart kid,
Hmm.
you know. And I think he may not be Peter Parker, Tony Stark level genius or whatever, but he's a smart guy.
All right, his name is John Abrahams. I've seen him around. So
Hmm.
he was in like Scary Movie and a couple of things, but he just has that kind of Scott Conn energy. Like he's just kind of like from the early zeros, like
Yeah,
you know, kind of like he's. I think punk is too strong of a word, but like he's like he was like a slimy agent basically,
yeah.
and he was just so like yeah, like he even says trust me, and I'm
Oh
like that's
yeah.
exactly when you should trust someone.
Yep.
Trust me.
Yep. Especially when they're
Terrible.
when they're involved with your money.
I also love how it was instructive, like even when they're having that like dinner and they're trying to convince him to do the Netflix thing with Shonda Rhimes
Uh,
and like Trevor is like, saying, you
do a
should do a
play.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, so why are you here exactly? Like they're like, I thought this was a Simon dinner. And they're like, we all are working, like it's funny how the agents and everybody else in a way are kind of like parasites, man. Like all they want is
Yeah.
for you to get a big job to pay off their commission. Like
Yeah,
what the
because they
hell?
didn't. She really wasn't working that hard for him
Hmm.
beforehand, right?
You're
Like all
right.
of a sudden he gets this callback for Wonder Man. All of a sudden he's starting to get this role, and then you've got a room full of people. Because remember when he first comes in, he's like, I want to go audition for Wonder Man. She chastises him for walking in on her when she's with her people. And
Yes.
then now he gets the role and he's at the head of the table and they're all catering to him and trying to get him to do the next thing. Like you said, that's going to make them money. Because that's, unless you're Jerry Maguire, that's all agents care about, right? Is their money. You're their investment. And they need you to go out and make them money for it to be a profitable experience. And when you look at that table, there was like what, six agents, five agents, something like that. There was a bunch of people there all of a sudden because he is now in this thing.
Man, I've seen him in so many things. I'm sorry, I'm going back to Abrahams for a second. Abraham's great uncles were actor Matt Gray, okay, longtime confidant of entertainers, George Raft, Dean Martin, and Frank Sinatra. And anyways, it's like he's connected.
Yeah.
I remember, okay, Boston Public, that's where I saw him. Boston Public,
Oh,
Law and
okay.
Order, SVU, Boiler Room. I think Scott Conn was in Boiler Room too,
I
so
think so
that's
too.
where I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah.
So him and Scott Conn were in Boiler Room together with what's his name, Vin Diesel. And that was definitely a broy type movie.
Go
So
for
that's
sure.
that's where it's all coming from. So trust me, John Abrams, I like you, I do. But I just remember like it was a good casting to have you play the role you played in Wonder
Yeah.
Man. But I also love going back to the dinner table scene though. I love how when he finally said no, they're all like, okay, we'll put a pin in that. Next. Like it's
Yeah.
just crazy how you're right, the power dynamic shifted so much. My suspicion or my hope is that he might show up in Secret Wars along with Shang-Chi. Because
Hmm.
I think he's a good guy to have on the squad. Um,
Yeah.
he's powerful.
It's so hard to see the rumors because we're in an era now with social media where people just post something and then everybody's like, holy shit, this is going to happen. And I'm like, dude, these people have no credible resources. They're just throwing shit at a wall. Like we've seen it. There are known websites that just post shit to get
Yeah.
traction and they have, they're not true at all. And it's really hard to trust all these rumors. I really try and avoid most of them. So like I've actually seen that he's going to appear in Doomsday and he's going to appear in da, da, da.
Nah.
And I'm like,
No.
I won't buy it until I see it. And if he does, awesome. If he does, that's
Do
great.
you know
But I
why I don't
don't
think he'll be
expect
in
it.
Doomsday? Because I think that I know Spider-Man's not in Doomsday, and
Yep.
Daniel, like the director, is directing Spider-Man's next movie. So I feel like if Shang-Chi, this, and Spider-Man are all being directed by the same director, and we've heard that Spider-Man will show up in Secret Wars, I
Yeah.
feel like that's where Yahya will show up. It's like a, and I also love the fact that like in Shang-Chi, it looked like you had Wong. Wong had a pretty major role in that, and or particularly at the end, as far as like connecting everything.
Hmm.
So I feel like, yeah, because he recruits, I think, Shang-Chi and his sister. Now, I hope that was his sister, right?
No, no, no. They're very good friends. They're very good
Sorry.
friends.
See,
But
thank you. So, like, thank you for correcting me. Like, but Shang-Chi and his friend, who are platonic, yes,
mhm.
to like join, and I feel like they were building out the world. As a matter of fact, didn't the Abomination show up in Shang-Chi at one point? Was he there? Like, did he have to fight him? Anyways,
Is that I don't remember which one it was. If
as a
it was
matter of fact, I feel like,
multiverse
yeah, I think
or
Wong, I
was it
think
the
Wong fought
series?
yeah, I think Wong fought the Abomination in Shang-Chi. I'm pretty sure because that's where,
Yeah, 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 yeah. But and then we
but it
go
could have been
back to that in
She-Hulk
another
too.
show later.
Shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyhow, I'm just saying, I'm just making the connection.
Mm.
Shang-Chi, Wonder Man, Spider-Man, all flowing into Secret Wars. That
Yeah,
is my
I
prediction.
believe that too because I do think Doomsday is more about our Avengers that we
Yeah,
know and less about new people. I think we'll get there.
yeah.
And Secret Wars will be the big one with, the kitchen sink.
And more
Um,
cosmic too. Or actually,
yeah.
I think, yeah, more cosmic because it's
Hmm.
Battle World. It has to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see. But I hope I really don't know where they're going after Secret Wars, other than X-Men, which we know they're working on. But after that, like I don't know what the next thing is for the MCU. It'll be really
yeah,
interesting to see where they go because they have to really commit this time to being post Avengers. You can do new Avengers or whatever, um, but we really, as much as I hate the idea, we have to be done with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, and at some point, um, Chris Hemsworth, like those guys, they did their part. They laid the groundwork for this whole thing. But if you don't let them go and do it smoothly, the MCU is going to die. So you've got to be able to move it forward without those guys, and it'll be interesting to see how they do that. But I do hope that Yahya gets his shot. I think this character and the work that he did was great, and I kind of love the idea that whatever he comes into next, he may very well come packaged with Trevor Slattery.
yes,
Like they may be a dynamic duo for a little bit.
amen.
Yeah.
So before we move on to the next thing, because your rumor thing made me address something really quick. So Voltron, Defender of the Universe. I don't know if you heard about who's playing Zarkon. Did
Is
you
it
hear this?
Sterling K. Brown, isn't it?
Sterling K. Brown is our Zarkon, and I do like Sterling K. Brown, but I will say after War of the Worlds, I am very worried because War of the Worlds was an Amazon film, and Voltron is an Amazon film, and it's not going to be theatrically released. It's just going to be on Amazon. This
That's
is
what worries me the
be
most.
very afraid,
That is what
dude.
worries me the most is that they have actually said that it's not going to be in theaters. And I'm like, how do you take
That
one of the
IP.
most popular 80s like nerd icons and then say I'm not going to put it in the theater? That tells me that you don't have confidence in it.
Correct. Now, I'm also online here, and apparently there is a cast name under the name Henry Cavill. I'm tempted to make you guess, but honestly, I don't think you'll get it, and I think it's kind of lame. Like, really? Like that's what you got for us? That's what Henry. Oh yeah, Henry's gonna show up for 10 minutes, get paid, and that's that.
Yeah, it's a tricky
You
one
know,
because he can't be one of the the pilots. He's too
he should have been
old.
effing Lotor, dude, but
Yeah.
whatever. But he's
No,
not
he's too old
Lotor.
for that too.
So you're on the right track.
Is
So
he going
who
to be
is he?
Sven?
Keep going. I'll give you
or which one dies? It was Sven that died, right?
Sven's the one who died.
But
Yes.
yeah,
Well, based on I can see why you'd say that based on what I said, but no. Should I just tell you?
yeah, yeah.
King Alfor, dude.
That actually fits though. That actually fits because they could do the whole hologram thing. They could have him in there all the time as like a guide and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't think about it that way. Huh.
yeah. That makes sense because to me the pilots have to be younger. They really do.
Yeah, they are
Um,
there, and there's nobody I've heard of. Like maybe Lauren knows who they are, but Alba Baptista,
oh yeah, she's a
John
big deal right now.
Harlan.
She's Chris Evans' wife.
Shit. Okay. Fuck me. Okay. Alba Baptista, John Harlan Kim, Laura Gordon, Samson Kao, Tim Griffin, Tharana Tharan, and Kevin Spink. But
Nope,
you also have
you
Rita.
lost me after Alba Bautista.
Okay. And then Rita Ora, who I think
I do
I
know who
right. That's like a isn't is she a singer?
she is a singer. She's done a little bit of acting here and there. Who does it say who she's playing?
No. And there's
She,
Nathan Jones who as well. And it just says Super Soldier under there.
all right. I would imagine Rita Ora might be like what's her name? The witch Hagar.
Hagar? Okay. This is gonna be terrible, dude. Like I want it to be good, but I am not.
You know what scares me is I actually think Masters of the Universe is gonna be better than Voltron.
Okay, first of
And that makes me
dude,
sad.
Masters of the Universe is gonna be good. And
Yeah.
the crazy part about it is as a kid, because you know me, I'm an anime guy, and Filmation is definitely not anime. I never liked the cartoon. I hated it. And which I know is gonna like lose a lot of people, but whatever. I did not like He-Man. I didn't like really any American cartoons, to be honest with you. But that trailer for the live action He-Man looks damn good. It looks fun. Like
Yeah.
it actually, I think it hits the right notes.
Yeah. The only downside to it is like I was watching it and I was like, man, that costume does not translate. Like they put a very cartoon accurate costume on him, and I was like, that's silly. Like my hope is that they'll do that for a bit and then update it.
Kind of like with Captain America. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
like it's there and it's fine because if you know the show, but like my wife saw the commercial and she was like, "What the hell is that?" And I was like that's He-Man, 100%. Like that is very accurate.
yeah,
But like long term, like I could see because he's from our world or he lives in our world, right? Like I can totally see at some point, maybe he goes through the whole thing, gets the battle, and at the end he's like, we got to do something about this, just some kind of gag, and then they can move that bit forward.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it does not look bad. I definitely like when I heard they were making it, and then it was going to start in our world and all this. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like I was like, there's no way. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, yeah, dude, I may actually be in the theater for this thing.
yeah,
Like, yeah, it looks fun, and
yeah.
that's all it has to be. That's all it
Yes,
has to be. It is fun and not disrespectful. Like it doesn't have to talk down to
yes.
us, right? And to be fair, that's why at least the first Michael Bay Transformers movie worked, right? It was fun. Yes, they took some liberties and they did some stuff, and it wasn't perfect.
And kill Jazz.
You- The God damn it! It's like
What
like
up,
I
G?
look I no. What's up, little bitches? I'm like,
That's right.
come
Yes.
on, man. And then they rip him in half. I'm like, congratulations on being
Yes. Yeah, we
yeah,
already know. We already
yeah.
know.
I'm
Yes,
like, God
exactly.
damn it. Like I really did. I was like, like I was in the theater and I was enjoying that movie so much, having a good time with it when he first shows up and what's up, little bitches? And I was like, no, you can't do that. I was like, what are you doing? And but to the point, like, yeah, they had that, but it didn't cheese it for us. Like it wasn't like here, this is going to be corny and is you're too stupid to understand this stuff. It kept it pretty well grounded, and I feel like yes, He-Man's I think is going to be more fun than Transformers, but it doesn't feel like it's dumb, and that's what
So,
matters.
so what do we think about the dreaded Jared Leto or Leto curse? Like, do you think that because he's all covered up in Skeletor?
Yeah, yeah. I think if you take his stupid face out of it, we might be okay. Like the problem is the dude can act. Like he really can act. He's just a crazy person, you know? Like you watch some of his older, I think especially when you get into his older stuff, you can really appreciate how much he can act.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know what it is about him that makes movies just bomb. Like, just he has been in some real stinkers. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, number one, Morbius never should have been a movie.
yeah,
It just should not. He should have been a character, and that's that. It didn't ever make sense for that to be a movie. And that's more Sony's fault than his. I mean, but at the same time, it just wasn't good. So,
yeah. I actually can't think of a legit well, besides the Spider-Verse films, but of a live action Sony like comic book movie that was actually like the shit. Like,
mhm.
I mean, yes, I mean the original Spider-Mans were, so
Yeah,
I'll take them
yeah,
out. Yeah, they were. But but yeah, outside of that,
yeah. No, they've completely just shat the bed trying to get squeezed blood from a stone with their IP that they wanted instead of the MCU characters. Which I love. Kevin Feige was like,
thank
"Cool, man.
you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, not marketable, my ass." Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, I the Voltron one. I'm gonna watch it. Like as soon as it comes out, I'm gonna
Oh, of
watch it like
course.
day one. But man, my expectations are low. Like I am thinking worse than the Power Rangers movie that
Which
recently
was
came out.
actually
I
pretty
didn't hate it.
good.
I didn't hate
Yeah,
it.
right?
The with Dacre Montgomery, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was actually pretty good. Like I was a little like really like you guys should have made a sequel. Like this was serviceable.
Yeah,
Like
they could have taken what they did in that one, improved it a little, and had a
yes.
successful franchise from that.
Yes.
Which is funny because we're talking about not dumbing something down. This is like that was the opposite because the Power Rangers is such a silly show, but it was very very successful, and they just reused that formula over and over again, and they were very successful. And so they tried to make it a little smarter
Yes.
and a little better, and I really did enjoy it. I liked the movie.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just unfortunate that I guess I don't even know, was it not successful at the box office? Like I don't know what
Now I
led
gotta
them
look
to
it up.
not continue it.
You know what? The box office was 142 million over a 100 million dollar budget. So it's not like they lost money, man. Like I mean, maybe they lost money from like maybe they wanted more, but like
Yeah, well, it
it
looks
was
like it.
decent.
Yeah, and it looks like it really fell off because the domestic opening was 40 million, but it only made 85 million domestic. So like it had a great opening weekend, and
Oh.
then like people didn't go back or didn't go see it. Um, I wonder too if the PG-13 rating hurt it a little bit. Um, Not much, but a little. Like the thing about Power Rangers is it really was a kid-friendly show.
Hmm.
Um, and to this one was just a hair more mature, you know.
Yeah, which
But
I liked.
yeah, I did. I like I said, I enjoyed it. I wonder,
I'm looking at
now
Rotten
that we'll
Tomatoes
go down the
next.
research as we talk.
Oh, okay. So Rotten Tomatoes is not good either. So 51% critics, well, that's to be expected, but 65% audience. But then again, you had enough time for people, so it was a middling, you know what? Whatever, dude. Yeah. If I was a studio head, I'd be like, okay, let's try it again.
Yeah,
Let's just learn from our mistakes.
yeah.
There's something
What can
here.
we do a little bit better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I gotta
C-
rewatch it.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't. I'm not against rewatching it either. I mean, and the names that were in there as the main characters, you got three people that have been very successful since, and it's Dacre Montgomery, Naomi Scott, and Becky G. And then
Okay.
you got some guy named Bryan Cranston who I don't think anybody knows, and then what's her name as Rita Repulsa.
Is
Uh,
Naomi the one who was in Smile 2?
yes.
That's awesome. Okay,
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, she was in that. She was in, was it Charlie's Angels? She was in something where, yeah, she was in the Charlie's Angels reboot that kind of bombed.
Okay.
But she's talented. She really is. She was in Aladdin. She was Jasmine in Aladdin.
And then
Um,
Becky G, who's more of a singer now, I guess. Oh, Ludi Lynn's in here
for
too,
the
dude.
most part, but yeah, she's popping up all over the place right now. Again, I don't know. Maybe she's got an album or something coming out, but I've recently seen her on socials a lot. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting to see, that one. But I do like I expect
Dude, I love this. Live on this podcast, right here, it says here in 2025, Hasbro announced that another reboot is in development. Oh, but it's a television series. But
for
still, the fact that they're trying to like reboot it is good. But
is it
like,
Power Rangers?
yeah, man.
Hmm.
And apparently, they were trying. Yeah, here it goes. The film received mixed reviews from critics. It underperformed at the box office. The film was intended to launch a film series with multiple sequels, but all plans were canceled due to its commercial failure, leading Saban to sell the franchise rights to Hasbro. Another reboot was
Interesting.
in development, but due to Hasbro ending its partnership with Netflix in 2024, plans for that reboot were scrapped. But now Hasbro wants to work with 20th Century Television.
Interesting.
So,
Hasbro's not a bad place for that. No, no, not a bad place for it to end up at all.
and 20th is under Disney, dude. So, like, you know, it's going to get that budget, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. But going back to what you said, I think this Power Rangers movie is going to be better than the new
Voltron,
Voltron.
which is a travesty.
Yeah, because Voltron should be great, man. It really should.
Yes.
It really, really should. Um, like, if nothing else, God, I hope they put the money into the special effects. At least let it look good. At least let it look accurate and good. If you do anything corny with it, you're just killing it.
Here's my prediction. It's going to be AI. And
Who's the
yeah.
director that's just got a ton of shit for that? Darren
Oh, really?
Aronofsky.
Oh,
Darren
really?
Aronofsky. He made an entire movie with AI, but cast SAG actors.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
are like, "You, dude, you can't fucking do that. You're taking jobs away from these graphic artists, from these designers, from all these people, to make your movie. And maybe this will be interesting to see if this movie does well, because if it does somehow do well, you're saying AI is okay now,
Yeah.
right? Like as soon as it's a success, it will be used more and more and more and more. Like it's going to be used more anyways. But you're gonna see a lot of creatives speaking out against it. Especially the people that are impacted by it.
Hmm.
What was it? They created an AI actress,
Oh,
and I
that's all.
forget the name, but it was like this whole thing. There was an actual like actress created that's an AI actress. And people were like, well, fuck you. They're like, no, no, you're not going to cast this AI actress in movies and shit. Um, and then, now there was an AI, funny enough, we're going back to the almost the opening of the show, but there was an AI artist, a music artist that was signed to a contract. I'm like, how do you sign somebody that doesn't exist to a contract?
Well, I'll just say in one of the Macross animes back in '94, there was a legit AI um artist.
Hmm.
And like it's crazy to me how life is becoming like fiction.
Yeah.
But yeah, but does the AI have agency? And I know I heard you saying that there's a social media platform for AI, so and who knows?
Yeah,
It's a strange
we're
world.
definitely living in a weird world right now, man. Stuff is bizarre. And like, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. And then the other thing too is like the impact of AI is like environmental. Like the amount of resources it actually takes to
Power
power
one.
the AI to do these things.
Yeah,
Like, is it really going to be? I know it's faster, but is it going to be cheaper than using people?
excellent point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see where things go. And for me, I always think that creative stuff should be left to people because AI can't create from scratch. AI pulls from other things and uses it, recycles it, and spits it out, which I mean, technically is what we do too. But there are no original stories, right? That's what they say. But uh, it's just like AI should be making our lives easier so that we can go out and create rather than creating so that our lives can be harder. It's a funny little struggle, and I don't like it. I don't like the AI, even though I use it all the time for work stuff.
Well, the
But
last thing I'll say about Voltron, now that I'm like punching it to death, is that it's been in development since 2005. So the last time we had a movie that was in development that long, I think, was might have been Black Adam, and we all know how that ended up. So
it
either
it it, it up what was it? It upset the power balance in the DCEU.
it's something like that. Like I'll still never forget the announcement in Times Square where all of a sudden it was like all the like I watched it online. Like he was so like yes the hierarchy is going to change in
Yeah,
the DC. Oh, it sure
which
did
I
change.
I can tell you though, compared to a lot of movies now, at least they marketed that thing. At least there was an effort put into it
They
on that end.
really did.
Now, a lot of that came, I'm sure, from old Dwayne
His
himself.
pockets.
Yeah,
Yes.
and just him, he like not in a bad way, but he loves himself. Like he wants to be a big deal. And so, of course, he would push it. Of course, he would be out there marketing it. He wouldn't be in something that he couldn't, you know, brag to everybody about because he wants to be the biggest dude in the world. And that's fine. Like, that's passion. That is, I don't necessarily think he makes great movies a lot of the time. Like, most of his movies
I
are the
want
same
to see
thing.
the Smashing Machine. I know that's on HBO
Yeah, yeah,
Max
yeah.
now.
Yeah, I do need to check
So
that one out.
we'll have to give it a go.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, we'll see on that. But he is somebody that likes to he likes the idea of fame and popularity, and he has put his entire life and effort into it. And to his credit, has been very successful. Like I'm not bagging on the guy. Hell, I'm jealous, you know. Um, and he doesn't really pretend to be anything that he's not. He's a
Well,
showman.
yeah.
I would say he's never going to win an Oscar, but I mean, the Smashing Machine at least got him some notoriety in that
Critical
regard.
acclaim. Yes.
So, maybe one day I'll be wrong, but for the most part, he always plays Dwayne, and that's fine. He's fucking great at it. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger played Arnold Schwarzenegger for a long fucking time,
Yes, he did.
before like Kindergarten Cop, right? Like up until then, I mean, Commando, Terminator, they were all the same.
My favorite though, yeah. I'm glad you led with Commando. That to me is it's goated. I think it's an underrated goat.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes.
But yeah, it is what it is. Like, go be great at what you do. There's nothing wrong with that. But goddamn it, Voltron better be good, and it won't be.
It won't be. We've accepted it.
I have, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
But cool. I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
Nah, man. I'm good.
Perfect. Then we made a hell of a show. I'm gonna have a lot of editing to do. This is a long one. But yeah, I'm excited for next week with Lauren watching Ragtime. I'll definitely talk about that one with her. I
You know
feel
what's
like
funny?
there's.
I
Go
just
ahead.
got this weird like idea. You technically might be able to drop like 2 episodes next week. Like you'd be like, you know what? Part one, bam. Part two, bam. If you wanted to.
I may. I got to see how long it's going to be.
Yeah.
And like part one, part two, or something. Um, but yeah, we'll see. But enough about that. With that, I will say thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.